Hey y'all, Dilkrum here from Quality Beast, and I'm not sure if you've seen the other two solo mode videos, but this is the third one in the series, and today I want to show you expert mode, which is a lot less scary than it sounds, or is it? Let's hit the table and get this game into action. Right on. So, welcome to the table. We're here for another solo mode game of Seize the Bean, and we are once again using the Kreuzberg district. And this time I'm going to be using the difficulty token on the expert setting, which changes my resource actions to 2 beans, 1 milk, and 1 sugar. And I just mentioned that, solo mode on expert is really hard, or maybe it's not. And the reason why I made that joke is that it's kind of circumstantial. There are some strategies in the game, not just this district, which rely on a lot of resources. Some don't. There are a lot of cards that you can get which ramp your resources regardless of the first action. So it's important to understand that generally this will make games harder, but the better of a player you are, the more you're going to play around this. Although this milk and this sugar, it makes it really hard to do it makes it hard to do the higher payout strategy. So for tourists or something like that. Anyhow, as usual, I have been drinking coffee, so I am the first player, and Starbots is the second player. I have already given myself 5 beans and a milk, which is my starting resources. I have already shuffled all of these 6 customer groups from Kreuzberg into these 3 decks. I've shuffled the upgrade tokens as well as the action deck for Starbots, and then I've shuffled my friends and family. I've also shuffled these Gutschein, so we are going to reveal 2 hype and 2 good reviews. And then we are going to reveal what's coming in the city. We're going to see what we're going to go for this game. Now that would be wild. With these resources going for a party animal game. That would actually be a very, very fun and interesting game. What would also be quite an interesting game is simply going for hipsters. I'm revealing the city as usual in front of all of you. So that you can listen to my thought process as I figure out how I will take my first actions. I'm going to take a sip of coffee and think about this. Okay. You know what? I think I am gonna go for a party animal strategy that mixes in cyclists and hipsters. And part of the reason why I'm thinking this way is that I could take this party animal card for style, then next move I could activate pantry, and I would get a word of mouth right away. So I'd either get the party animal, or if I took one of these cyclist cards, I could get the cyclist, or if I took this scoop, which would be really necessary when it comes to getting resources, then I can get a hipster, which is pretty sweet. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that style upgrade like that, and we'll advance the city. Cool. This is going to get pretty wild pretty fast. Starbots, you are up. Starbots does the wild action, which is going to do a good review. We're still not modifying that token, which isn't placed there, but we're imagining that it's there. This often happens when we're testing for development. And this video obviously is for you to see solo mode, but there are still some small pieces that are still in the developmental stage, final developmental stage. So if you back the game and you're waiting on it, don't worry, don't stress. But this token, which is prepared, it's just not printed out right now. So hopefully this will be the last video in which I say that. I just wanted to kind of rush out these 3 different solo mode videos to put them in the Kickstarter update, so all of you have a view into the solo mode rules, because the variant rulebook isn't quite ready to release for this update. Anyways, that's happened. Second action, pantry, as suggested, and I do think I am going to take. I mean, this would be interesting too, but this depends on that's delivery. It depends on another icon being there, and there just isn't one. So I'm going to go ahead and take this hipster upgrade. Voila. And then this is a dangerous card, so I'm going to go ahead and take this hipster card for the word of mouth there. Basically what I'm doing is, just in case
If I took this one and somehow it came out too early for me, it'd be a problem. So it's not the end of the world if that one vanishes. I could always pivot and do a cyclist hipster strategy as well. So I've taken my 2 actions. Starbots, draw a card. Starbots does a pantry upgrade. Draw another card to determine what one. Woo! Voila. GPS enabled snacks. And then also upgrading that wild action to give me a bad review. Ouch. That action just became gnarly. Okay, we've both taken our actions. We're going to go to hype. That's 2 good reviews for Starbots because Starbots already has 2 hype. And then I'm going to draw 2 cards, which is Opa, which is great right in the beginning, and Lazy Friend. Fantastic. Pay 1 bean to serve Opa, and I'm going to tell some good old war stories and get Lazy Friend to run out the shop and never come back. Done with serving, discard. Oh, we forgot to advance the city here. And we also forgot to reset this little round marker that I've been using. Serving is done. We go to word of mouth, and I will attract this party animal. Got it. And then Starbots attracts a cyclist, and the rule that we're playing with right now is that it's always the rightmost cyclist. So in this case, the rule benefits us. And you might say, well, how does that AI make sense? Well, in some cases, it kind of does make sense because they're taking the easiest card from us. And if we're playing expert mode, we only get 1 sugar with this action. This action's terrible. And we wouldn't even be able to serve them, even if we had croissants, which we do, by the way. Okay, that's happened. So then we would reset the meeples. And then we're going to advance the city as well. Oops. All right, and Starbots is going to kick off round 2. So, Starbots flip a card. Oof. And that's the wild action. Up to 4 points now, and giving me a bad review. I'll move this copy out of the way here. Okay, I'm taking my first action. Now I have to think very carefully here. I definitely need more pantry upgrades. I need them. And on the next round, I definitely want to be getting both sugar and coffee. And I have a great coffee ramp already. So basically what I need to do is a sugar ramp, and that's the card right there. It's high quality, which is perfect because that's what I need for my my hipsters, and it's 3 sugar. Now the downside about it is that I don't get a donut, which I really need, but I can always go back and get this donut in the next round. Hopefully. Another interesting card could be this one, because it has delivery on the top row, but right now it wouldn't help us until we have an actual icon, so I think I'm going to get that one. And before I get it, I'm going to activate word of mouth, and I am going to take this super hipster. The reason why I'm going so aggressive on the game right now is because I really need to make sure that I'm beating Starbots. Because I want to look good on camera. No, just I believe I'm going to be able to serve them since I'm going to be taking this card. So then I go ahead and I take this card. And the reason why I did that word of mouth first is so that I could actually attract that hipster. Because now, as I've covered it up, you only have party animal customer group icons visible. So that's the cool part about being able to decide the order of which you trigger these icons. You're actually allowed to pull some kind of little gamey tricks there. So I've done that. Starbots, second action. And that is a style upgrade. And that upgrade is going to be this musician one. So we have musicians and cyclists being attracted by Starbots. That's a nice spread for them. And then also we're going to be upgrading the attract a customer action, which also now gives me a bad review. Ouch. I really can't mess up this game. Okay, my next action, which I didn't think this through because I could have taken, actually I could have taken a style upgrade first there. And now, actually if I do either of them, it's going to draw a card. Do I want that? That's going to get pretty wild pretty fast. Not a lot of chances for the party animal to come out, but it is possible. Which won't be good because I don't want any bad reviews here. But if I was going to grab a style upgrade, what would I be grabbing here? For example, this one's quite good for us to get pantry in the future. Or I could just get a jump on that sugar, to be honest. If I get a jump on that sugar, then I would be able to pull in a cyclist with my party animal in a following round. I'm thinking I should be doing that just to start building up resources. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, get myself 4 sugar, and just already get moving on the things I need for this game. Playing a little bit safe. All right, we've both taken our turns, our 2 actions. So hype, and that's Starbot's already up to 6 points because of a hype of 2. And then I'm going to draw my cards, and that's going to be Oma, and that's going to be Popular Friend. You know, I really need a donut, by the way. I really do. All right, so 2 beans. Digging around in here. Let me pull this a little closer so I can see what I'm doing. 2 beans, and that is a good review from Oma. So we're at 0 points. And then the question is whether I want to waste some sugar on her side or I do not. And then we're going to spend our final bean and a milk for a Popular Friend. And we could also waste, oh, we actually have 1 more bean. We could waste a sugar on her to get a good review. I think, again, I don't want to do it. Now, who am I going to attract with her? That is a really good question. I do want to leave that cyclist out there, but the problem is we know Starbots is going to take that cyclist on their first attract. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just nab that right now and protect my, basically blocking Starbots. Okay, so that was the end of my serving, and I just discard both these, and then Starbots does word of mouth, and it has to take the musician, so protected my investment there a little bit. Ooh, nice, and another one appears, and then I also get, for word of mouth, another super party animal, which is both good and bad. I mean, it's good that it's already in my deck, but it's bad because it would have been nice to have attracted it and done a big combo in 1 turn. Anyhow, we are on to round 3. Reset the meeples. All right. Here we go. Yep. Right on. So, we know I need resources, and there's really not much debate about that. The question is, what do we think is going to come out? God, it would be so silly to pull more sugar besides just getting beans and then have nothing come out, right? But it could be a really explosive turn. So we're going to get a scoop and 2 beans. And now the big question here is we have 4 sugar. Do we go ahead and get a donut? Oh, and I totally played that wrong. We should have got the donut first and then got the scoop and got the hype with it, and it would have increased. Ah, I messed that one up for sure. Ouch. I think getting the 4 sugar is almost the same as getting the donut. So I think we're gonna go ahead and get that donut just to be safe. So oh, but first Starbucks goes, of course. Oh, and we got the scoop. Did we get the 2 beans? I'm not sure. Hopefully I'm not cheating. I'm taking 2 beans. I'm a very forgetful person, especially when I'm on camera and haven't had enough coffee. All right, Starbots. Hype. That's the card that we drew. Take the hype action and increase to 3. Yeah, because this was our last one. Okay. Next up, I am going to do a pantry, and I'm gonna get this caffeine sprinkles. And unfortunately, that word of mouth doesn't trigger because there's just nothing there for me. Womp womp womp. All right, Starbucks, draw a card. That's another hype, so we skip that card. That's another hype, so we skip that card. Wow, that's the first time I've seen that happen. 3 in a row. That's going to be attract a customer, and we also get a bad review. And the customer that they attract is going to be the first one, tourists. So you can see Starbucks is really easy to administer as a player. Don't take any of my mistakes. I think I've made at least one mistake in each of these 3 videos too seriously. It won't happen to you because you're all much smarter and more aware than I am. Anyhow, we've all both taken our actions, so then we do height, and Starbots now gets 3 points. So already up to 9. And I am going to draw 2 cards. So let's get some shuffling going on. All right, that should be well mixed enough. One more cut. 1, ooh, and 2. All right, that's not terrible. So that's 2 sugars, so I'm glad I got that donut. 2 sugars, and then do we have enough coffee in here? I think we do. We have the ability to roast our own high-quality coffee, so that's 2 high-quality coffee, and boom, we get 2 good reviews. So we are up to we're up to 1 point, which is fantastic. And then we get 2 walk-ins. Now this is really tricky here. I do think I want this cyclist to get us some more resources, and I'm hoping for a party animal. Ah, didn't get one. However, we could get milk with that cyclist. And if we got milk, we could serve that super start-upper. And if we serve a super start-upper, it triggers 2 symbols here on the style side, and that could be a word of mouth and a draw, or even 2 draws, which is pretty wild. So I think I'm going to go for that. I think I'm going to mix that in. That's going to be pretty neat mix. So there you have it. That was the Berghain regulars, and now on to the hipster. We're going to serve the high quality coffee, and I don't think I'm going to serve that pie. I think I want to save my my sugar there, and I'm going to get 1 hype from them. Then onwards, we are going to serve 1 sugar for a croissant, because we have the ability to bake those ourselves. And the question would be, do we want to throw 3 beans for a good review? That's really tricky. We're starting to get a lot of different things in our deck, but we do have that scoop there, so I think we want to do it. I think we want to go 3 beans, because it's high quality and strong coffee. We really got to catch up to Starbots. I don't want to let this game slide. Okay, and then, since we don't have milk, we're going to have to take the 2 milk, for sure, with the delivery. Okay, and then on to the startup founder. It's actually my boss from my last job in real life. His name is Lars. He's a really cool guy. Anyways, boom. And that's 2 strong coffees. So that's actually 1, 2, 3, and 4 beans, because we don't have strong coffee. That was brutal. And milk. And then do we want to serve this snack? I don't think so. I think we really do want to save this sugar cube. And this is going to be tricky. We might get a bad review here. We're going to see what happens. Yeah, we're going to save it. So that's 2 good reviews. And then we activate 2 symbols over here. So one is going to be a draw, and the other one can be a draw, or the other one could be a word of mouth. So that's really, really sneaky here what to do. So I'm going to do the draw first and see what happens. So there's a draw. Whoo! And that sucks. We have only 1 sugar. So we're not going to be able to serve them. Well, I'm definitely not drawing another customer after that. So the question with all these visible groups, what do we want to pull? We can't pull musicians, and that's what they're going to get. And interesting. We should probably shake the city a bit. So I'm going to pull this start-upper. And the reason why we can do that with word of mouth is because we can also base word of mouth on who's in our line at the time. So I'm going to pull a start-upper in hopes that we see a party animal. Ah, and we don't. Dang. Okay, well, anyways, it's happened. So I probably should have pulled the hipster, because that would have been the easier customer to serve. Anyways, that was a draw, and that was a word of mouth. So then onward, which I can't serve them, because I only have 1 sugar, so they're going to be unhappy with me. And then that's the end of that serve step. So we already have a kind of explosive deck going on here. So that's angry token, get a bad review, and because we have 3 or less, we do get to discard them to our own deck. So we start out with a word of mouth, we get nothing, and then word of mouth here for Starbots is actually the club DJ, and the reason why that is only musicians match, and then you take, if there's an option, you take the rightmost. Which was that club DJ. Oh wow, there's a lot of musicians coming up. Okay, so reset the meeples. And we are now in round 4. And then we'll reset, we'll advance the city here. Gentrification. More people coming to Berlin. More buildings being built. More businesses. City is always in flux though. I do like that about the game, how it represents that. Okay, Starbots, you kick it off. Starbots is going to attract a customer, and this is terrible because that gives me another bad review. I really can't go wrong here, which is rough because I need everything. Ouch. Ouch. That's really hard. Okay, what customer is Starbots attracting? Ooh, tourist. All right. Ah, dang. Wow, I don't like the situation at all. 3 customers here. I have definitely ejected 1 friends and family, so it should be a lot of friends and family. I took 2 start-uppers. I think I didn't eject, I didn't eject popular friend, so it could be popular friend. But I have 1 milk to serve her. So I think we just need sugar. And I think we also need beans. It would really make sense to get beans. Now the downside about getting beans is going to be a hype, but I do have 5 cards in my deck. So I think it's just going to be sugar and beans. We could risk it. We have 4 beans, but I don't think we should. I don't think it's a good idea. Didn't draw this card. Ooh, another super tourist. So I think that's what we're going to have to do, unfortunately. It's going to be a boring resource round. But we're building up to a big finale. Oh no. We lost that bean. 2 beans. I'll get it after the game, so you're not waiting around for me. And a hype. So we're going up to 4 hype. Starbots, next turn. So that's a pantry upgrade. And that is number 5. So start uppers. It was a good one too. And then they're also going to be upgrading their style upgrade action with attract a customer. My second action is going to be 4 sugar. And those 4 sugar are going to bring me also a good review. We're getting close to halftime here. Let's kick hype into action then. Starbots is going to take 3 good reviews, and that is almost halftime for the game. Starbots at 10 points. Sheesh. 12 points. Ooh. And I'm at 4. No, not even 3, because these all link up. Ouch. Okay, and then hype of 4. Let's see what happens here. Opa, not bad. Okay, party animal, that's what we expected, I think. The popular friend, we also expected that. Oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That was all of them. Ah, Opa. Opa at the front of the line. Not necessarily a good thing here. So let's go. Opa. Do we want to already get rid of Opa? So what do we have? We have Oma somewhere. We have the popular friend, which isn't terrible. Covers up the musician, which helps block them. I think so. Let's do that. Opa's going to get rid of himself. I rarely do that, but basically grumbles to himself and walks out the door. All right, here we go. 2 donuts. And then we can get 2 good reviews by serving 2 strong coffees. But ouch, that is a lot of beans. And we'd have to be getting another scoop next round. I don't think we should be doing that. I'm not going for that. I don't think I'm going for that. Nope. So let's just attract 2. Now here's an interesting thing. Very, very interesting thing. First of all, we have 1 milk, so we have to be really careful. Who do we want to pull in the line? Now we could pull in that musician, even though we don't have pie. We'd take 2 sugar to serve it, but then it could keep the party animal in line for next round, which would be pretty cool. We could also pull in that start-upper, but then we wouldn't be able to serve them. And lastly, we could pull Opa back in to kick the popular friend back out, which is actually a kind of neat little trick. Just to thin our deck down a little bit. And also make it so we don't stumble on that milk. So I'm actually kind of thinking of doing that. But first I'll pull that musician in. So that'll be the first. Pull that musician in. We'll see what comes up next, and then we'll make a decision. Woo! Another musician. Well, we're definitely not going to be pulling that because we wouldn't be able to serve him. So that's what we're doing. We're going to attract Opa in again. All right, so moving on. That's the only milk that we had. Throw that milk away, and a bean. And we're not going to serve the croissant, even though it would be 1 point, because we're trying to save that sugar. So now we can attract anyone we want, but they're going to go to our discard pile, which is pretty neat. Well, another interesting trick that we can pull is if we use the musician to actually keep our hipster in line. We make sure to raise our hype. No, well, we're going to raise our hype this round, but we make sure to be getting points from it. But then we'd actually be able to attract hipsters, which are a little safer in our deck than anything else. But hipsters, again, are a really good thing for party animals to be pulling too. But that hipster is behind, so hard to say. I think I'm going to do that, though, so I'll show you this trick. So what we're going to do... Oh, no, it won't work because Grandpa's going to eject anyways. Right. So I'm trying to plan the word of mouth here. That's what I'm trying to do. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and grab that other musician at the front, try to shake the line a little bit for word of mouth. So I'm going to grab this musician. I'm going to compete with Starbots here as much as possible. Ooh, and it's working. It's working well. Okay, here we go. That's going to be 2 high-quality coffees. That's going to put us up to 5, and then also that does trigger halftime with the second hype, giving us a good review. And then we're going to bring these other 20 down here, fumbly. And if I didn't say this in one of the previous videos, these are going to be a lot easier to deal with when they're actually cardboard tokens. And hopefully we'll have some handmade ones or a pre-pressed copy that we can actually show you on video. Okay, moving on. We do have enough to just barely serve this musician their pie. We can't do the side order, but we do get to place a happy token. So the question is, where is it going to go? The really interesting thing is that we could put it on them. And that's interesting because that allows us to continually compete with Starbots. And I kind of like that. The thing I don't like about it is it means that there's a musician at the front of my line that I have to be serving. And we don't have pie, although that could get this pie upgrade right here, which isn't a bad idea, to be honest. I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to try to really blow them out the water on that. So we're going to keep this musician in line. Even though we should probably be keeping this party animal in line, we're going to go ahead and keep this musician in and not explode too big here. I think we have a little bit more of the game to explode big, so they're going to keep themselves happy. And just a note, this symbol on this card is actually updated with the new iconography, and it will instead have the symbol being with an arrow being placed on a card, whereas this symbol is just happy token. The difference between the two is this means the customer themselves get happy, so you put a happy token on them, you don't have a choice. Whereas the symbol here, their ability, it allows you to choose who you put one on in your line. And of course you can choose them, so that's kind of interesting. And an Opa, oh, and I didn't think about this when I brought him back. So Opa, if he covers up by ejecting Popular Friend now, then they're going to attract the Startupper. Actually, that's kind of neat. I think we're going to go ahead and do that. So Opa is going to eject Popular Friend like that. I'm going to keep Opa around so you can keep ejecting people. And then that'll end serving. And I'll show you what that does. So we discard all the cards that don't have tokens. Then this one stays in the line. We trade in the happy token for a good review. And word of mouth starts with Starbots, musicians. They have musicians and Startuppers. So they are actually going to take the Startupper because it's the rightmost card. Which is kind of cool. I kind of tricked him there by covering up that other musician. And then we're going to actually be able to attract party animals or musicians. So we're going to get this other musician. I think by now we've competed pretty healthily for that musician award. Now we need to lean back to Startuppers since they took one of them. All right, so that would be the end of word of mouth. So we're going to reset. This will be round 5 and advance that city. And we are obviously looking at our cards. we are obviously not going to be getting a cafe achievement for style upgrades this game, but it is entirely possible that we could get one for 5 of a kind over here. The question is, what is it going to be? Now I mentioned startuppers. It would actually be really beneficial to take the startupper card to attract startuppers. You already see one out there. But since we have party animals, I'm a little bit less worried about that. However, serving them when a party animal attracts them is a problem because we don't have any milk. So this is like a really big dilemma. This card would be much better for us to take because it increases our sugar ramp. This card would be better for us to take because it helps attract the right cards for us. And this happens a lot in Seize the Bean. There's kind of 3 different things happening on at least the pantry cards that you need to make decisions about. Do you want the action icons? Do you want the special resource? Or do you want the customer group icon? So anyways, we're going to go ahead and take a pantry card. And unfortunately, we don't get a word of mouth now or afterwards. There's just nothing for us to take. So that sucks. But I'm going to go ahead and take this one. This polyphonic pie. Oh, that was a good one too. The Ocarina cake. We're going to take that one to increase the sugar ramp because that's what our next action is going to be. And then also to get that pie so it's easier to serve these musicians. Okay, so Starbots, what you got coming for us? And that is a pantry upgrade. Number 3, so it's the Concerto Coffee. So they're really going heavy on this musician game right now. And then they're also going to upgrade their style upgrade action, which is going to add hype to it. That's getting to be a pretty scary action. All right, so my next action is going to be here on the sugar row, and that is going to be 6 sugar. So I'm going to take a brown sugar. Oh, a little bit stuck together. I'm going to take a brown sugar, which equals 5, and another sugar. And I should say right now that these are not the final brown sugar. These were kind of the a little bit too yellow sample that we had, which we showed at PAX Unplugged last year. And since then we've had 2 more samples made that were just really, really close. And our manufacturer has just been a sweetheart and said that they can do one final one. So we're waiting on that now. So anyways, those go in. We didn't reset this city right here, do the city maintenance. And then I'm also going to get a good review. So that was a pretty good action. We'll see how that holds up for us. Okay, Starbots. Next action. Wow, there it is. That's the style upgrade. So they're going to attract and trigger a hype. So we can just trigger the hype right now. Now, the question you might be asking is, in what order do these happen? You can just go from the base outwards. So first you would draw a card for the style upgrade. See what style upgrade it's going to be. So it's going to be 3. So startuppers. Wow, they're really leaning heavily into those 2 groups. And then also that's going to upgrade the hype action. So wow, they just have upgraded actions everywhere now. And then normally we would draw another card for attract, but since it's the last card, we're actually going to go ahead and shuffle the deck. So that's kind of the rule there. And once again, if you heard me say it in one of the last videos, we're doing that in order to make it a little bit more organic. That way you couldn't, look through the discard pile, count the cards, know in advance. Might sound really silly, but just when you get down to the last card, you go ahead and shuffle. And that's just a little thing that you'd have to shuffle the next card anyway, so it's not like it's more work. So then we draw one for the attract, and it's going to be the 3rd customer, which is Super Cyclist. I'm really losing track of who's in their deck here. I don't know if we can compete on the cyclist level. All right, so everyone's taking all their actions. We're going to do hype. Starbots is going to get 4 points. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I'm going to get 5 cards. So that's 1. Hey, Oma. And we're going to shuffle this deck. Mix that up nice and good. Probably get a lot of comments or making fun of my shuffling, but these laminated prototype cards are actually kind of hard to shuffle regularly, as you can see. So most of the time when we're playtesting, we just do these kind of hand shuffling around. And hopefully all of you viewers at home approve of that. Probably not, though. Anyways, that was 1 with Oma, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Wow, okay. This has the possibility to be an explosive round because we have that super party animal. Actually, I'm not even sure how I'm going to be able to show you this line on camera if it gets too big. we'll see what happens. There's no party animals out in the city right now, so it doesn't mean we won't get one. All right, 1 sugar for the pie, and we do not have any milk. So we're going to have to put a good review on someone. I no longer want those musicians at the front of my line. What I really now want at the front of my line would be party animals. But it wouldn't be bad to also have a cyclist at the front of my line. I'm going to trade in this brown sugar for 5 sugar so we can plan this out a little bit. That's going to be a pie. That's going to be 2 donuts. And then that's going to be a croissant. And we're going to have 2 sugar left. And then there's another cyclist there, which is pretty neat. I wouldn't mind having a cyclist and then a party animal. I think that's what I'm going to try to do. So first, but they're going to, because I put a happy token on this one, it's going to be in front of the cyclist. Anyways, we'll go for it. So I am going to put a happy token on that party animal there. All right, so next up, 2 beans for Oma. The question is, do we want to serve her that pie? I don't think so. I think we really need to watch our resources, so that's a good review. Next up is the hipster. So that's 2 high quality for 2 good reviews. Not too shabby, but still, we're trying to blow up with the party animals and get as many customers as we can to win all the awards, basically. Then we're going to do this musician here, and that's a pie. And again, we still don't have soy milk. We don't have any milk, actually, so they don't get happy themselves. So we're going to put a happy token on someone. Is definitely going to be this cyclist here. We want to be able to get a resource ramp every round. So we're going to move on to this party animal, super party animal. So 2 sugars, and then we can serve 2 high quality coffee for 2 good reviews. We just got to be careful because we're going to need to get that scoop, but I think we can manage this. So 2 good reviews for those 2 high quality coffees. And they keep their happy token because we serve them. Then we attract, we get 2 walk-ins. So we get 2 customers into our line. Now we have to be careful here because they need milk, they need milk, they need milk, they need milk. So it has to be the bike mechanic, which is good anyways because we want more resource ramp. And now this is really, really tricky right here. What are we going to draw? And it's a party. That's too awesome. Okay, so we're going for it. So let me just smush all these good reviews up here. And we are definitely taking this party animal next. This could be it. This could be the explosive turn that we needed. Oh, we're going to have to watch our back here. All right, so we've done the 2 walk-ins. We're going over to this cyclist. And we're going to spend the sugar for a croissant. We definitely need more sugar, but we're also going to need some milk. And the reason why I say that is because this party animal has to pull in a milk person. So we're going to want something that pays out pretty big. And since we don't have soy milk, it's definitely going to be this super startupper. And that's going to help us compete with Starbots as well. So with the first cyclist, we're going to get some sugar. So we have on the symbols here, we have 3 sugar. And what's interesting is if we want to do the sugar row next round, and we should take a look up here. Pie, pie, pie. High quality donut. That's a shame because this is definitely second to last round, and we really, really could use a 5th one here, but we don't know what's going to come out. We could just dud out on that. The reason why I'm pausing is maybe we're going to get sugar next round. I mean, with them at the front of our line, let's plan this out too here. This is going to be a sugar. That's going to be a sugar. We're going to be out of sugar. We're going to be out of sugar here. We've already paid for this card. Because we could just use it to get a scoop and then we wouldn't have to take this action. It's so risky. I think I'm going to do that though. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let's trigger the scoop instead of the sugar. Oh, wasn't that great? It wasn't that great. Uh-oh. Wasn't that made? So we're not going to serve the sides, that's for sure. All right, going over here. Serving that croissant. Are we serving the side? It's 3 for a good review. I don't think so. We need to keep that. And then we're going to trigger the 2 milk. So we'll get those 2 milk in there. And then here we're going to serve a donut, and we can't do that side either. And that's going to be a walk-in. And this is where it gets kind of nasty because we're going to take this super And hopefully you can still see that. Yeah, you can. We're going to take this super start-upper, and when we hit that, it's going to be actually 4 beans. 1, 2, 3, 4, because we don't have strong coffee. And then the one, oh, we have 2 milks. So one of our 2 milks, and we can't serve the side. So that's 2 good reviews. Not terrible. And then we trigger 2. It's going to be a draw and a walk-in. Woo! So I think we're going to do the draw first. So once again, it's really hard to fit this all on camera. Normally if we were playing, we would just below the line, you would just kind of start like a second line. Oh, and it's Grandpa. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. That couldn't be any better. So we're definitely not doing a second draw, that's for sure. And since this one triggers word of mouth and not a walk-in, I'm safe to take something that can go in my deck. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and take this start-upper to go in my discard pile here. And then lastly, we go to Grandpa, serve 1 bean, and we're going to use him to eject Grandma and just thin that deck down even more. Which might sound silly to some people because she does give a good review, but I think Grandpa is going to just be there in the last round to get rid of himself. Actually, well, yeah, it's tricky. No, we're gonna play it like this. We're gonna play it like this. Okay, so discard, discard, discard to the front of the line, to the front of the line, discard, discard, and discard. So I definitely think we are winning with awards again in this game. I'll move this back down here. So that was a very successful, explosive party animal strategy. I had a lot of cyclists and other things to mitigate in my line. You saw me playing a very risky but very tight and skillful resource game here. Now I turned in 2 happy tokens, so we get 2 good reviews. And they stay in my line. And we're first player, so we actually get word of mouth, which is very rad because we have musicians, cyclists, and party animals. And I want to leave that cyclist out there because that cyclist is going to help us a lot more. And also, when we take musician, we block Starbots. So we're definitely taking musician. Awesome. And then Starbots gets nothing. That was perfect. So here we go into round 6, which is definitely going to be the final round here. Reset the baristas and then reset the city. And Starbots better come hitting pretty heavy if they want to have any chance of winning. But I don't think they can now. I think we blew them out the water on in-game good reviews, and I think we're going to blow them out the water with the awards too, big time, even though we didn't yet get an achievement. But if you watch this, Starbots is going to go first, so Starbots could block us. Let's see what Starbots draws. Attract customer, which gives us another bad review. Ouch. And then we're going to draw a card, see what customer. It's going to be a tourist. I think Starbucks is going to win the tourist award. Unless we can pull a bunch of tourists, but they're hard to serve. All right, and then we're going to take our first action, which I am going to make it a pantry item. And this is pretty cool right here. We are going to go ahead and take this one. I'm not even looking to see any others. We're going to put that in our... actually, you know, it would be quite interesting to leave this card out here. We have no sugar, but we're going to get a lot of sugar. We would have to be extremely careful, but I think it would be a big combo turn. So, oh, but I don't have a choice. I was going to say I could trigger word of mouth first. Actually, with them on my line, I don't have an issue. Okay. So what I was going through there might not have been that clear. Since I'm covering up my musician icon, I was thinking I could trigger word of mouth first, and if I had no other icons, it would dud out because there are no musicians. But that's not true. I have a lot of other symbols. So basically I was trying to avoid taking the party animal. But I can actually attract this cyclist with one of these cyclists here. So I really love that super, so I'm going to leave that in line there and just hope. Oh, no, actually, I don't have to hope. Well, hope that they don't do a style upgrade and attract that customer. So this one's going to come to my discard pile. Ooh, this could be a really big turn for us over here. Like this could be a blowout game, and you'll see that even on expert mode against Starbots, you can still totally just weave a really powerful strategy. Now, I took that card, by the way, and we get a cafe achievement for it. So both of these are going to be the same for us, right? Because one is 2 hype, and we're already at 5, so it's 2 points, and the other one is just 2 points. So I'm going to take this one just in case we served a tourist and we would need a way to get 2 extra hype. It doesn't really make much sense, but I'm going to do it anyway. So That is 5 of a kind and 2 good reviews, which come from here right now. Okay, Starbots, next action. And that is Pantry Upgrade. And we're going to draw a card to see what it is. And it's Pantry Upgrade number 1, which is more Startuppers. And if you look here, this is not abnormal. I mean, Starbucks has 2 croissants and 2 strong coffee. So, you know, it was 1 card away. And again, I admit that this AI is not super intelligent, not like it would be in a digital version of the game probably, but that was quite close to a cafe achievement here. It's not often that Starbucks is getting cafe achievements, but it's not never either. And then also we're going to upgrade the hype action with what looks like a good review token there. Okay, we've taken our action, so now it is hype, and Starbots is taking 4 good reviews. That is 1, 2, 3 triggers game end, and then the 4th one comes from the box. I mean, Starbots is already at 20 points over here. That's like not too bad. Now we have a lot too, maybe even 20 over here, but we also have about 5 bad reviews, which balances out with this 5 too. So, all right, and then our hype is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Wow, this turn is going to be bananas. I'm going to already move the discard pile up here and move the deck up here, and then I'm going to slide all these cards here so you can follow along. And we are certainly... Oh, I'm sorry. Very, very silly of me. I did not take the second action, which I said before was going to be sugar, so it will, of course, be sugar. And that's going to be 6 sugar, because we're going to need as much sugar as possible. And then the only other 2 symbols are hype and good review, which equate to the same thing. So that is going to be 1 good review for us. My apologies. I am so forgetful on camera. I'm just too excited to be sharing the game with y'all. That's my excuse here. Also, as always, haven't had enough coffee. Right on. So let's serve. This is definitely going to be explosive. Like huge. I'm not even sure how this is going to even fit here. Maybe we'll have to overlap cards. So, we're going to trade in that brown sugar right away. It was kind of silly to take it, wasn't it? For 5 sugar, we are spending 2 of these sugar to serve the 2 donuts. And I just want to show you how explosive this could be at this point. So we are going to serve those 2 high quality coffees. And that's going to get us 2 good reviews. We're just going to go big time here. We should probably plan this out, but yeah, we should probably plan this out. So there goes a croissant. Here goes a high quality. There goes 2 croissants. There goes a pie, and that would be all. That would be all we have there for sugar. So we're definitely going to need more sugar. Then, if we want to serve all the sides, that's going to be 3 beans there. We have no more milk. This side would be 2 beans there. That would be all of our resources. So the tricky thing here is we could get a scoop with 1 action here, and then with this double action we could get 3 sugar, which would be enough to serve the party animal, and the scoop is going to be enough to serve our start-upper. But we're also going to want to get some milk, so we could get 2 milk with that. That way we can serve the side here, which is actually a bad idea, but because if we serve that side, it's only 1 point, and we're potentially having more people come in line. But a lot of them look like they're going to be party animals, so we're just going to be needing more sugar. Yeah, I don't know. This is going to get really tricky really fast. Also, this Fixie Rider is going to come in. We could get 5 sugar with them, as opposed to milk. And we're risking a lot. Yeah, we'd be risking a lot. I don't think we should serve that side. So we're going to go ahead, now that we've planned this all out, we're going to go ahead and attract, or do a walk-in. So definitely it's going to be this cyclist. We need more cyclists. We need to be getting more and more resources. Ooh, wow, that's interesting. Just a hipster. Alright, well, it's going to be the other party animal then. I think. We can't handle the tourists, that's for sure. Whew! Alright, so then comes the cyclist, that's the croissant, and... Oh, we really got to be careful. But, okay, 3 beans. Actually, it's only 2 beans for the side, so we can save that 1 bean. And that's a good review from the box. And then with the delivery, we are going to go ahead... You know, we probably should trigger... Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get 3 sugar right now, just to make sure that we have it. All right, and then the hipster, we're going to throw away 1 bean. And I don't think we're going to waste any sugar just to get 1 point here. So that's going to give us a hype, which is going to be a good review. I mean, maybe we should, but I'm afraid we're going to run out. It's really hard to plan this out. I mean, here's 2, and then here's 1, and we still don't have enough for everybody. So here go these 2 croissants for this cyclist, and that's going to trigger 2 more. We don't yet need milk, and we have another one coming. So I think I would just get a scoop and 3 more sugar. So let's do that. Scoop. Oh, please be a big scoop and don't drop any. Woohoo! All right. And then let's go ahead and get that 3 sugar in. Here goes the pie. And we're going to put a happy token somewhere. So the happy token is what we want to add to for word of mouth. So I think I want to be pulling in a startupper for word of mouth to continue to compete there with Starbots. So that's what I'm going to do. And then we're going to do... oh, wow. That's risky. I didn't see that. This is why you need to plan. But luckily, so all the sugar's gone. So we're going to do the 2 donuts, and then we're going to do the 2 strong coffees, and that's going to be 2 good reviews. You can see why, for one, we have Seize the Bean, the end game triggers when a certain amount of good reviews are gone. Because as soon as someone has an explosive turn like this, you don't want to play any longer. You're like, okay, I give up. But secondly, you can see why, even though we do have a 5 and 6 player version of the game, why we'll probably not be recommending districts that have party animals in them for higher player counts, maybe even 4 players, because you wouldn't want to wait this long with 6 people around the table for sure, even if it's the end of the game. Okay, party animal pulls 2. This is really hard to say, especially with that other double there. I mean, we're going to be risking a lot if I keep pulling in customers. With a lot of beans and a lot of milk, we could serve quite a few. So I think I'm going to pivot now. We have a lot of beans, so I could get 3 milk, which would be enough for quite a few startuppers. So I think I'm going to pivot. I think I can't explode any bigger. So I'm going to pull 1 startupper, and then we're going to see what happens. Yeah, and then I think so. Let me start overlapping these cards here, so you can actually see my whole line. That's who we last served. Right on. So I'm going to pull this other startupper. I think it's got to be that way. Wow, we're just going to totally annihilate the competition in this game. This was just a super blowout. Okay, and then we're serving this super startupper, so that's going to be 2 beans and the milk, which is already on them, and that's going to be 2 good reviews, and then we're going to trigger 2 symbols over here. Now, the super startupper is actually going to kind of hurt us right now because one of those is going to have to be a draw. So we're going to do that draw first, unfortunately. Oh, wow. And it's another startupper. That's pretty lucky. So then we're going to do a word of mouth. And basically, we can take anything up here except for the tourists. So I am just going to go ahead and get the bad stuff out of here. And by bad, I mean the stuff that will just keep our line exploding. So, and that's an awesome card right now. Except for the fact that we don't have any more sugar. But we could take sugar, but then we'd have to serve them first. It's just bad ordering here. Okay, so on to the next. 2 croissants. And with that, we really do need 3 milk to serve all 3 of them. And after that, we're going to just have to pull in hipsters unless we want to lose a customer, which we don't. So 2 milk and then 1 milk. So it's only going to get us 3. So that was a pretty weak execution right there. But this is going to be perfect. You're going to see this lineup just perfect. Except for the fact that we have another super party animals. Let me move this forward also. Like this. So we've just served them. We're going to have to pull in 2 more customers. It's going to be a hipster because it's the only thing that we can really serve anymore. And yeah, it's going to be another hipster. That way we can serve a whole line. That was wild. This is one of the biggest lines I think I've ever seen, honestly, in the history of this game. That was kind of unbelievable. So let's see if we have enough for it. And I believe we do. Especially because we have all those upgrades. 3, 4, and 5 with 3 beans left. Wow. So let's move on. Serving this start-upper as a bean bean and a milk, and that gets us a good review. And then I'm going to trigger word of mouth, definitely not draw. And with word of mouth, I can get anything. So why don't I just keep clearing out these party animals here. On to the next customer. Actually, we don't have to overlap them anymore. And so that's bean and a milk and a good review and word of mouth. I'm going to clear another party animal here. Actually, you know what? Let's just really make sure we nuke them on the musicians and the start-uppers. And so obviously I'm being able to attract anything because my line's so big. Or word of mouth anything. That's a, ooh, went in the wrong bag. Uh-oh, lost bean. Bean and a milk. And that's another good review. And then we're going to trigger innovation, which is going to be another word of mouth. And that one's going to be another party animal. And then lastly, this hipster. It's going to be a bean. That's just a good review because our hype's at maximum. And then the very last hipster here, which is going to be another good review. Wow, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 card line. Like, what a blowout at the end of the game, right? That is not the kind of game that you want to be up against. And so all of those cards vanish, and I did not play that well, and you're going to see why here. I was not paying attention. What a huge deck. And then this one stays in my line, and that gets traded in for a good review. And we go to word of mouth for Starbots, and while Starbots gets nothing, I also get nothing. So I really should have taken a cyclist in that last round, so we could have got the party animal with word of mouth. But it's not like it's going to matter. So that triggers, the end of the game is already triggered, so now we have reached the end of the game because no one gets word of mouth. And now we're going to look at the customers. And as I said, I think this is just an absolute blowout here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you probably can't see these off screen. So what I'll try to do is I'll try to stack as many as I can in a place where you can see them. Let me just get the party animals here first. I think I almost took every party animal in the city, really. All right, let's stack the hipsters on top of the party animals. That thematically makes sense. All right, let's get these musicians here too. Wow, that was like one of the biggest decks I have ever ended up with in the game. That was just, for it being on expert mode, that was really well played, if I do say so myself. And I stumbled a few times too, so that shows you that you can really do some heavy damage in this game if you know what you're doing. This should work out here, just barely like that. Leaving that little party animal symbol visible, and hopefully you can see I have 5 of those. And then let's see what's in their deck. I don't know. I don't think they pulled through too heavy here. To the tourists here. No way. No way. They got smashed apart. So, hipsters, obviously I take, and that'll be 4. In the last video I showed you what would happen if you get a good point, a good review for the award itself. But I've been playtesting that a while. I've been playtesting them against each other, and I think I've come to the conclusion it just doesn't feel like it's necessary. I mean, this game is obviously not going to be necessary. So let's go ahead and not do that. So here goes 4 good reviews here. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the hipsters. Then cyclists. I won that one, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can just take one of these 5s. And then tourists definitely went to the Starbots player. So let's see, that's going to be 1, 2, and 3. And then musicians, I think I won that too. So they had 3 symbols, and I had 5. So that wasn't like a blowout. I was competing pretty heavily for that though. And then start-uppers, I have 6, and they had 1, 2, 3. So again, I'm just pushing it a little bit harder than they are. And getting there. So obviously, if you're playing against another player, you still might be able to blow them out, but obviously they'd have a little bit more control. Starbots is not a conscious player, it's not aware. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, that was big time. All right, so I mean, obviously I've won, but let's just count up these good reviews. Starbots is 20 points here plus 3, so 23. And let's see, I had 5 bad reviews, so let's just ditch those 5 there, and we'll ditch 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then let's just put these in stacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's one stack. Here's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we've already obviously won. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And lastly, 1. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. This is 4 and 1, so that's 60, 61, 62, and 63. Woo! 63 to 23. I think that is the biggest blowout game I've ever seen of Seize the Bean. I mean, this was just out of control. And what's amazing is being able to pull that off even on expert mode. So you might think, expert mode doesn't look so hard. But I would say think again, because I really had to build a very specifically good resource ramp there and play at my best. And of course, as you know, one of the designers of the game, the lead designer of the game, I assume that I have some skill. So anyways, let's come up from the table and I'll say goodbye.
Right, so there you have it. That was the end of the third solo mode game that I've shown, playthrough, this time on expert mode for the player. And apologies for a little bit of sunlight coming in here. I mean, I love sunlight, but it messed up the video a tiny bit. But the reason why I say for the player is because you might notice that, let's presume that I have skill in this game and I know what's going on. You might notice that if you were a skillful player, and if you had a good game, and if Starbots didn't have super aggressive game, then you can still totally smash Starbots. I mean, this is one of the best solo mode games I've ever played as far as points go, and it was on expert mode. So I had to play a little tighter, I had to play a little more carefully, but I was able to get a strategy that just exploded and did extremely well. So the reason why I say for the player is this token really changes the experience just on the player's player board. But the token for Starbots changes the resource actions, and the idea there is that a more powerful set of icons could be used to increase their actions. And the reason why I'm being ambiguous about it is that we have been testing a couple different ones, but I don't want to announce them and say, oh, these exist, and get your hopes up until we are 100% sure. And we're just on the end of that now, and as soon as that is clear that it is safe to release, then I will announce it. And the other thing, which I believe I mentioned in this video or one of the other videos, which changes the difficulty level, is of course the distribution of the upgrade tokens and also the distribution of the cards. And I won't get into that in the detail now, but there's some other little tweaks to Starbots. Now you still might say, well, that's still not hard enough. Well, of course, you're playing against an AI, and it's not a digital one, so you're playing against a dumb player, in a sense. So that's exactly what the scenarios are for. And while not all of them might only be for solo mode, because we are experimenting and testing some for multiple players, but many of them will increase the difficulty as well, because they will give you other objectives. And if you don't achieve those objectives, then you lose, or at least they set additional challenges up. So even if you've won, you might feel like, okay, well, I didn't win as good as I could. So hopefully you've enjoyed these 3 videos, and we'll definitely have some more info coming soon. And I'm really excited to release the variant rulebook. Just thanking everybody for your support, for your constant patience with us. This game is huge. There's so much complexity in it, but we love it to death. We love working on it, and we are extremely confident as a team that you are going to love it. At least if you love complex games, big, kind of meaty Ameritrash / Euro style deck builder, thematic nonsense, wild games, then of course I assume you're gonna love it. If you hate all that stuff, then you might not have as much of a chance of loving it. Anyhow, I've talked too much, and I haven't drinking enough coffee, so I'm going to say goodbye for now. This is Dilkrom from Quality Beast. Thanks for watching. See you next time.